Poetry sucks. Now that might be a hot take, I don't know. But I also don't really care. Poetry can go think on its sins and die. I hate dissecting it. Of course, this is coming from someone who at the time of writing this was 4 days away from writing an English exam instead of studying. But my point still stands. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually because of my studying that this video exists at all. When I was going through my English assignments to refresh my mind and all the crap I learned and had to regurgitate for the test, I found something. Absolute gold material for a video. So, during my poetry unit, we had to write down our own poems. I mean, obviously, right? However, one of our assignments was to write a poem around song titles. It was one of those gimmick assignments to get your brain working. Now, here's the thing about me. I don't listen to that much music. When I do, I only really listen to, like, game soundtracks and a few certain artists, like Michael Jackson or Garrett Williamson or others, I guess. I much prefer listening to podcasts than listening to music. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. I prefer listening to random YouTubers I watch as if they were podcasts. Yeah, that's dumb, I know, but I don't care. Anyway, the point is the songs I knew of that could be used as words in this poem were pretty odd. The list of songs I ended up using were Hurt, Mice on Venus, What If I'm Hurt Again, Middle of Somewhere, Get Along, Free, Jealousy, Empty, Bad, Earth, Death, 13, Cat, Dog, Dragonfish, Dancing Mice, Still Alive, Don't Do It, Test, and Imagery. Half of those were chosen because Middle of Somewhere and the Portal and Minecraft soundtracks were the only albums that were fresh in my mind at the time, and the other half of those songs were chosen because I needed words for the poem, so I looked up if they were actually a song title. Which they were. My teacher must have thought I was into some really weird shit. Okay, so anyway, I had a few song titles. Luckily, this assignment didn't require you to only use titles. You can include a few other words in the poem that contextualize everything. I don't remember how long I had to do this or how long it took me or whatever, but I did get the poem done within the due date. So I will now recite to you in its entirety the poem I wrote for my English 10 class made up mostly of song titles. Prepare to suffer. The 7.8 billion people on Earth are much different than the 13 tiny mice on Venus. The happy dancing mice in the middle of somewhere in space are free of jealousy. They get along. They don't worry about death. They appreciate how they're still alive. They aren't bad. They don't feel empty. They test their limits. They don't constantly think, don't do it, or say, they don't constantly think, don't do it, or what if I'm hurt again? Because they are never hurt. Are the mice real? Who knows? They could be cats, dogs, or They could be cats, dogs, or dragonfish for all we know. Or don't know. Maybe there's nothing. Maybe they're as imaginary as the perfect world they live on. Ugh! Okay, so that was the poem I shot out with the 20 song titles I had to find. While this is really, really bad, I would certainly call this a poem as it is unintelligible and talks in stupid sentences that make no sense unless you analyze the whole thing. Luckily for me, I already pre-analyzed it, so we can actually know what I was thinking when I wrote this dribble. Okay, so first of all, this poem is about the 13 mice on Venus that totally exist. Yeah, 13 mice on Venus. How'd they get up there? Why are they there? Why do they dance? Why are they so peaceful? I don't know. It's up to interpretation / they don't exist. Seriously, I think the only reason I included that line at the end is just so my teacher didn't think I was taking hallucinogens or something. I also find it funny how I created a backstory for the mice on Venus mentioned in the title of that one Minecraft song. This is now my headcanon for why the Minecraft song was named that. Also, for some reason, I made them dancing mice who don't fear anything. I think this is just because I needed to work in more song titles or something. No. Anyway, back to the poem. Below it, on the Google Doc, I was required to do a reflection of sorts. So let's journey down there to see what I was thinking. Okay, what's the title of the poem? The Mice on Venus. Okay, so for the title, all I did was just add the to something that already had that name, which is kind of lazy. Good job, me. Okay, so the main question I'm really interested in is this one at the end here, where I have to briefly summarize the poem. The third-person narrator is comparing our world to the world of the 13 dancing mice on Venus. These mice that live on Venus live peacefully, unlike most of us on Earth. Every imperfection we have here on Earth, whether it's in our heads or not, isn't shared with the mice on Venus. However, the end of the poem implies that there most likely isn't actually any mice on Venus. It implies that the thought of them is just imaginary, just like the thought of a perfect world.
Wow, it's almost like you're trying to make a political statement or something.
Okay, first, I like how I say the world of the 13 dancing mice on Venus. Like, just say Venus. It's like an actual planet that exists. It's not some fictional bullshit. Also, I said the third-person narrator. Like, was that really necessary, Kai, from 8 months ago? Anyway, from what I said in the summary, the 13 dancing mice on Venus are perfect in every way. They literally have no imperfections. However, they aren't real, I guess. Yeah, so apparently they are just as imaginary as the thought of a perfect world. I guess that's quite poetic, but that's also really stupid. What's the point of talking about them if they aren't even real in their own story? Hey, wait a minute, I just realized something. I wrote this, which means that I have full control of the canon. I am the god of this universe, where 13 mice live on Venus. Okay, so in my interpretation, which is canon because I wrote this, the mice are real, and they like dancing. They never die from aging, which means that they never have to reproduce, because thinking about that is rather icky. However, they all went extinct anyway because a meteor hit Venus, destroying it forever. However, don't be sad, because they won't die in your lifetime, because this all happened 6.9 billion years into the future. Ignore the fact that the sun will explode before that, because in this universe, the sun will explode in 420 billion years. Also, in this universe, Earth ended in 2069 because somebody accidentally pressed the detonate all button in the US and Russia's nuke area at the same time. Oops, not my problem. It wasn't my idea to build the nukes.
Wow, it's almost like you're trying to make a political statement or something.
Actually, no, wait, this is my canon, so I guess it was. Okay, so I take that back. World War II never happened because every country collectively agreed that they would be a stupid idea, and Hitler fell down the stairs because he was a fucking dipshit and died. I don't remember how World War I got started, but according to this old PS3 ad, it started because of the internet.
Can't believe everything you read on the internet. That's how World War I got started.
And I don't want to take the internet away, so I guess World War I just has to stay. So yeah, World War II never happened, and so the nukes weren't ever invented. And thus, there was no Cold War. However, the mice are still better than us because we still invented Twitter, and that's how the world ended. It's because Twitter found out that I created their world, and because I just made fun of Hitler, they thought that was too edgy, and they canceled me, and it worked. And so, because they canceled me, they censored all of my creations, and that included their world, and they all died. And that's how the world ended in my canon, where 13 mice live on Venus. Oh, and by the way, Super Mario Galaxy 2 was still invented in this universe, only it was put in every museum ever for being one of the greatest things invented by mortals. Heh, suck on that, Galaxy 2 haters. In my delusional imaginary universe, Galaxy 2 is the best thing ever. Yep, that's pretty sad. It's pretty interesting to have my own fictitious universe with its own canon. If anyone's interested in asking me any other questions about this alternate universe that I hope exists somewhere, feel free to ask me. I just realized that I kind of devolved from the mice on Venus to some weird-ass tangents, but whatever, I don't give a shit. Also, in case you're wondering the mark I got on the poem, if you were assuming that it was low, you are mistaken, because it was in fact a 10 out of 10. I mean, I'm not complaining, those were 10 points on my grade. I'm just confused as to why I got it. The poem sucked. Although I do have to thank that poem for giving me both a really weird video topic for today and an imaginary universe in my head that I can control at will. Anyway, that's the end of the video. So, in conclusion, please don't sue me, C418.